Good afternoon, friends. Market update time. You're probably wondering what's happening with stocks, crypto, real estate, all those things, and I'm going to give you a market update on those things. It's been a while since I've posted. I've been doing a lot of family stuff. I went and visited my brother in Denver. I haven't seen him for a while. I was very happy to see him. My brother has twice the IQ as I do. The guy's got like master's degrees and all this stuff. He's like this super genius. I'm kind of like a dog. And what do I mean? Like, I'm like a dog. Well, I've got a little bit of personality, a little bit. And personality goes a long way. But academically, I was never really the guy. But I'm pretty good at math. So I'm going to give you some analysis from some of the mathematics that I've done. And I think this should help you maybe get some insight. But remember, this is not financial advice, and you always want to talk to a financial professional. I'm just an entrepreneur who's been grinding for 31 years. Those of you that don't know, I own PC Laptops, started at 31 years ago, a computer company. We sell high performance computers here in Utah, and also have Xidex, XIDAX, and we sell high performance gaming machines. But we also sell to like Google, NASA, Amazon, Intel, a lot of big companies to do a lot of their heavy duty processing, AI work, 3D modeling, scientific data analysis, all kinds of crazy stuff. So those are the businesses. And I run the Ugly Unicorn Crypto Hedge Fund with my partner, Bridger Pennington. Love the fund. It's great. It's only open to accredited investors. So if you're interested, let me know. Okay, so that's me. I just want to tell you a little bit about how I got into entrepreneurship first, before I give you this market update. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and I was very, very, very poor when I grew up, to immigrant parents who came here to escape the invasion into China during World War II. My dad was cleaning floors at General Motors. My mom got a job as a bank teller, and we were very poor. We had to take food stamps. It was terrible. And I saw my mom and dad praying over the pile of bills they had, hoping that God would help them resolve this financial problem. And it was kind of interesting. That really set me in motion to try to figure out how to make money. So the first thing I did is I sold t-shirts in Venice Beach, California, and sunglasses. And so we would go up to people on the beach and say, hey, do you need sunglasses? And I got one for $10, two for $20, two for $15. So it was fun. But anyway, then I came to Utah after becoming kind of a rowdy teenager and started a computer business called PC Laptops. So more to the story, but that's my podcast. If you click the link in my bio, you can hear about that. So let me give you the market update. So first things first, let's talk about the Fed. Unemployment came in a way that a lot of jobs were created. So we were hoping that unemployment would actually be higher and less jobs would be created, because then the Feds would hopefully ease down some of the rate hikes. The rate hikes are what's affecting a lot of the economy right now, because with businesses, they have credit lines. And for example, for us, we'd use our credit lines to finance inventory, and a lot of businesses do that. Most businesses do that, cars or computers or wherever you're selling. And before, we were borrowing at 3.5% interest. Well, now it's 9, 10. Some of my friends who own business are paying up to 14%, 20%. And that's crazy when your margins are like 20, 30%. Like, how do you do it, So what I was forced to do was take a lot of cash that I had and inject it into inventory, because I don't want to pay 9, 10% interest. That puts strain on a lot of companies that don't have a lot of cash, right? And that's why you're seeing a lot of companies having problems even going out of business now, because they're running out of cash. And cash is really ammunition to conduct the war. But as soon as rates start pivoting, then these credit lines will be open up again for companies, and things will be easier. Another thing that's coming into play is student debt. Now, a lot of these younger people will have to start paying back their student debt, and that's going to be really expensive for a lot of them, because they've already got used to living without paying those payments. So that can put more financial strain on that. Housing has been interesting because there's not that much inventory. People have like 30-year mortgages at I have one at 2.2% or something, 30-year mortgage on, on some properties. And if you've got that rate, there's no big reason to sell unless someone's going to offer you mega bucks. But then you got to replace that property, and it could be pretty expensive, right? So that's an interesting thing. But when rates drop, the prices of the homes will probably go up, even a lot more, I think. So interesting. Now, a lot of commercial real estate right now, they're still building. A lot of these projects that take a while, but they started building when rates were low. And when they calculated how much profit they were going to make, they didn't expect to borrow money when they got their permanent financing at such a high rate. So now their math is upside down, especially for office where you have a lot of vacancy. So you're going to see a big, massive amount of those going on the market for dirt cheap. And people will buy them up that have some cash, but some of the stuff we bought for like 75% off, 80% off because of a fire sale. So that's interesting. Tech right now has gotten hammered in a lot of different areas. AI has done pretty well, but tech overall has dropped. If you look at the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 index, it's corrected quite a bit though now because a lot of people are selling off some assets so they have liquid cash to live on or finance their business and those kind of things. So that's pretty interesting. The government is also raising the amount of audits they do and scrutiny from different departments to make sure people are running, their businesses correctly because they want to raise more revenue. So that's another interesting, occurrence. Now with cryptocurrency, to shift a little bit over there, Ripple, the SEC tried to appeal the case because the judge tossed it out and the SEC lost the appeal. So Ripple's in a good situation, not totally, liability free, but they're in a much better situation. And there's one interesting thing, money is money. So you will see crypto really have a semi-close correlation to like the stock market though, because when people need cash, they need cash, right? So you'll see them sometimes pace each other unless there's what we call a black swan event, right? And a black swan event is an event like, here's an example. All of crypto is like $1.1 trillion right now. To give you an idea, Apple is like more than 3 times bigger than that, like almost 4 trillion, depending what the market is. But there's like more than $10 trillion in Bitcoin ETFs being applied for by Fidelity, BlackRock, huge companies that have like more than $10 trillion in assets. We believe, when I say we, Bridger and I did some analysis in our team, that once these ETFs go live, everyone's going to get into it as far as institutional investing. And you could see possibly the whole crypto market go from $1 trillion to over $10 trillion quickly, like very quickly, because everyone's going to jump on board. An interesting thing is Fidelity, I might have mentioned, they've been doing crypto mining since 2014, which is crazy. And on the app now, when you're in their app, you can seamlessly transfer money between accounts into Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's big because Fidelity has like globally trillions in assets under management. So that's mega, right? Now, anybody who's selling off their crypto right now, I think is crazy, on the verge of dumb. Because if you look at some of the charts right now, there's a thing called the Bitcoin halving, and that happens usually, it's going to happen in April. And that's where it gets twice as difficult to mine Bitcoin, which causes a lot of scarcity. And that's going to be like major, it's a major catalyst. But usually before that halving, there's chop. And so by chop, I mean price fluctuations, big drops, big rises, big drops. We think there's going to be some more chop here in the next month or so, maybe the next 60 days or so. So you just got to be able to stomach that. And you should never invest anything into crypto or stocks you're not willing to lose. It's both those assets are crazy. I mean, Apple dropped 51% in one day in 2001. So talk about volatile. And Apple's big, right? But crypto, even a little bit more volatile, I think, a little bit more risky. But man, the upside is amazing if you look at some of the charts. And I'll try to post some more of the charts I've posted in my stories as well. So that's like pretty interesting as well. Now the Feds, let's shift back to the Feds. They may raise rates another 1 or 2 more times. Depends a lot of inflation data and job data and those kind of things. So we may see some interesting chop there as well. But then going into the election next year, you may see some some interest rate drops. And when that happens, things are going to really start warming up. Usually every 10, 12 years, 10 to 15 years, the world gets crazy and creepy. 2008, 2001, this is when all the major corrections happened. Amazon dropped 80%, I mean, in 2001. So it gives you an idea of how, like, even huge, great companies can suffer as well from those things. But now's the time really to really watch your expenses. Don't buy too many dumb things. Try to have as much cash as you can so you can take advantage of the sale. We're actually sitting in the sale right now. We may see more sale action going into next year, possibly. But the debate between a soft landing or like crazy volatility, no one's got a crystal ball, right? My prediction though is you could see some certain sectors have a lot of pain, right? Like I mentioned, like commercial office and things like that. But tech, I think, will recover as AI starts picking up momentum, and that starts getting integrated into a lot of the technology. All the new manufacturing plants will start coming online in the next few years from the CHIPS Act. Over $52 billion already injected into U.S. manufacturing of chips. A lot of people ask, well, why is the government putting billions of dollars into U.S. manufacturing? And the reason being is we're afraid that like most chips that are made overseas are in Taiwan, that China may invade Taiwan, and we definitely have a component shortage if that happens. So domestic manufacturing, right? So that's kind of the broad market. As far as stocks go, there's a lot of cool innovation coming out now. Again, with AI, that's why Nvidia has been rising. I'm not saying Nvidia is a good buy right now. It's corrected a little bit, but it's still pretty high. But I don't care whether it's high or low. I buy a little bit every month of most of the stocks that I like. So that's good. If you hear a chirping in the background, I have giant parrots, and they're in the living room right now, so they may be chirping at you. What else do we got going here? There's a few things that I think that you need to do if you're a business owner and you're noticing some revenue fluctuations and things. You got to go department by department and really look at your operation, from marketing to sales to logistics and purchasing, to make sure you're getting good prices on your goods, to staffing, which is huge as well. You need to go through all your profit and loss statements, your balance sheets. You need to make sure you reach out to your bankers and build good relationships, though, so when things get a little weird and choppy, as they get more weird and choppy, that you're prioritized as a good client, right? You need to communicate what's going on with your credit lines and those kind of things. Hypercritical. A lot of times people focus just in one area, whether it's just marketing or sales or those things. But don't forget the logistics in the back end, right? That's highly critical for businesses. And if you have some questions, you can direct message me, some of those things as well. So here's some action items that you can take right now. I want you to get real clear on your financial, your physical, and your spiritual goals. Write down where you want to be. Where do you see yourself in a year or 2 or 5 years? I mean, you can get pretty granular with that. And what do you want? And what actions do you need to take daily to get there? And then what I want you to do is take those actions and put them in your calendar on your phone and schedule daily actions, at least one major action a day towards financial, physical, and spiritual development. Because a lot of times when we're trying to react to things where we should be responding, we get a little disarrayed and we get laser focused on one area that's suffering, but then other areas start suffering, and then it's like digging yourself out of a hole. Just my personal experience with this, I think you should definitely be very clear on those outcomes you want. Our hedge fund is doing very well compared to the broad market, so we're pretty happy. When Bitcoin dropped like almost over 70%, we corrected about 17%, and then we recovered, and now this year we're in the positive really well. So it's going to be choppy, but now is a great time. My partner, Bridger Pennington, I just put more money into our hedge fund, but again, it's only open to accredited investors, but a lot of people have been calling Bridger and I to join the fund. I've been doing blockchain for a long time. As you know, in 2014, I built the largest Bitcoin mining facility in Utah, and that's how I got started, right? So I'd love to share that experience with you. I can't tell you what coins to buy, what stocks to buy. Again, I'm a hedge fund manager, so I can't tell you that. But I'm happy to share you kind of broad information. But you can do a lot of your own research there. I would just follow a lot of different news outlets for crypto and for stocks and things like that. Most of it's actually free. Coinbase actually has a lot of good resources for crypto and education. In fact, they pay you like free crypto sometimes to watch videos and things like that, right? So, but I wouldn't keep a lot of money on a centralized exchange, but that's a different whole video for you. So expect chop in the markets, expect some uncertainty in the markets. I think things are going to chop sideways a lot until the end of the year. Expect a goose in the market possibly going into Q1 and Q2 of next year. And that could make some very big waves as far as the upward direction. Remember, those that take decisive action during times of uncertainty do really well. If you just crawl in a hole, that's the worst thing you can do. So you need to take more proactive action. I've been working more now weekly than I have since I was like starting my companies when I was in my teens, right? But now is the time to actually put in that extra effort physically, financially, and spiritually. If you found this helpful, there's a couple things that you can do. You can share this on your feed. That would be awesome. You can comment on it if you'd like. A lot of people ask, how can I pay you, Dan? You know, you could subscribe if you want, but it's microscopic money to subscribe every month. But you can subscribe if you like. And then I'll have special events. You get private invites too. But you can go to my daughter's art store. Go to her Instagram first and follow her. It's Naya Grem. I just posted up here in there for the stories. But you can go follow her and then buy something for her shop. And one thing I'm going to do is I love to support my daughter. She's like a young new entrepreneur. And really I'm proud of her because she's working on her own, you know, at such a young age. But if you buy something or send me a screenshot of your receipt, okay, you can cross out your address and all that. And I'll pick one of you and send you something just freaking awesome. I do this every once in a while because I really want to support her, at least with you know, you guys that are following here. I'd love to funnel you guys over there and give her some support. All right, I appreciate you. Take care. Make sure you share this video and grab something from my daughter's shop, Naya Grem. Okay, love you guys. Rock and roll.